Hello guys, this is Kazrahim bringing you another little video from Euro Truck Simulator 2 with the Going East expansion. This time it's a little bit unfortunate. I started a job in Krakow going towards Numberg with a little bit of a mistake on my part that I didn't have enough I have not enough time to actually do the delivery, but that's a whole different. We're gonna get into that later. Main problem is I lost the first part of this footage, mainly because I don't know why, but Fraps didn't record any voice. So I had perfect footage, but I had no voiceover over it, and no in-game voices, so I think it's better to just continue on the journey than, waste time. You can see I got myself a new, well, it's not a new, I just modified my Volvo. I downgraded the engine to 540 horsepower with it not being a 16 liter engine, so it's just a FH 13 liter 540 horsepower engine. I upgraded the suspension to a 6x2, which means the two frontal axles are, steering axles, they turn. And we have one axle with actually power on it, the last one. And I got the Globetrotter XL chassis, which is basically what you want when you have high trailers to make it more aerodynamic, because overall in game it has no whatsoever performance hit. So let's go. As I said, it's a little bit unfortunate that I lost the footage, because I would have way more to show you guys. But that's how sometimes Frap it is, I didn't want to start a new journey because honestly there's no good ones over at Wrocław. So I prefer to just stick with this one. And first thing you're gonna notice is I actually play without the screen on the right side, without the map per se, because this truck already has, oh no, we want to actually go this way. It has an inbuilt GPS device, so I see no sense in using, something that you would not find in a truck if I have something that you normally have. So I'm gonna use that. The only downside of it is that I don't know my rest times. That's the biggest downside I think that I found. But that's one of the things that I wanted to change to make it a little bit more realistic per se. This guy's allowing us to go. Friendly Volvo. So yeah, I wanted to play it more realistically per se. Like in Poland, honestly, I would have to drive around like this, because in Poland you have, there is a rule that you have to have your lights on all the time. Even like in summer when it's 30 degrees outside, sunny, you still have to have all of your lights on. I don't know, like, it's something that you can find in other countries, because honestly I never got so interested in it, but I think not in any country in Europe you don't have that. They suggest that it's for increasing, safety on the roads, but honestly I don't see how it improves safety when honestly the only thing that you change is the exhaustion of lights and nothing else. Because if it's sunny like now, the lights don't do anything. Understand when it's raining, when it's dark, gloomy, when it's foggy. Those situations you have to have your lights on to be visible on the road. But when it's sunny, there's no point in that. So that's a weird piece of advice, weird piece of, information for you concerning Polish rules and regulations about the roads. And seems we're gonna have to drive around on those kind of roads instead of highways, which is very bad. I hate going on single line roads in this game because honestly 90% of the time NPCs just derp. And derp horribly. They tend to completely stop right in front of you. Or just behave out of the weird, like there are 3 trucks in front of you and the first one will go 30 kilometers an hour just because. You can go 90 but it will go only 30 because it's a heavy truck, I presume. Or it will slow down in a corner to 20 kilometers per hour, and in real life those situations don't happen because everyone wants to be as fast as possible at the delivery point, so they go as safely as possible, but also as fast as possible. Like here we have an aqueduct, and you can see the rate of the slowing down. They just basically stop right in front of you. They go 10 kilometers per hour and you're left with just trying to overcome that. And you're driving something that weighs 25 tons trailer only. Including the truck, it would be something around 30 tons, so it's not easy to stop this. It depends on what kind of brake you use, because as I think I stated earlier in the previous vid, you have 3 types of brakes. Most of the time you have the retarder, which is a brake in your gearbox, which is divided into 2 types, either hydraulic or magnetic. It just slows down. It's basically a brake in your gearbox, incorporated into your gearbox. This has degrees or stages. It's operated by the handle on the right side of the steering wheel. You can see there's like a little sign of braking, like something like brakes. A circle with 2 circles around it, per se, half circles, or pieces of a circle rather. That's the retarder, like, see, that was the retarder. But I talked to Scootdog, and Scootdog actually said he was a real life truck driver. He said that in the US not a lot of trucks have retarders, which I think is weird, especially since the other types of brakes generate a lot of noise, especially in towns. Like a lot of towns in the US have regulations against jake braking. And jake braking is basically opening your exhaust valve before the maximum compression occurs, meaning you lose on compression ratios, so the engine is weaker. So that's braking by decreasing the amount of power your engine is putting out. You can hear it, like, hear that? That's the engine brake, that's the jake brake. And you also have the exhaust brake, which basically disables the ability for the engine to throw off all of its exhaust gases out. Like, normally in a normal car you have a pipe. So think of the exhaust brake like if you would put a rag into the pipe. You will still be able to the engine will work for a certain amount of time, but you will basically cut the engine off because the exhaust gases will come back into the compression chamber, and they will force it so you won't have either good compression, and they will take up space that's normally used by fuel and oxygen, which detonate. And if you have exhaust gases in there, then you just lose the engine power that you would normally get. So that's another thing that you use while driving around. But as I said, jake braking is the most popular form of braking for making your truck go slower, but it's very noisy because you're opening you're basically making it so your engine goes before the detonation starts. You actually allow the compression ratio to go down, and it's heard in the exhaust, so it's like you hear the detonation. So it's very loud. Unfortunately, I don't have the key for that mapped. Oh no, sorry, I have it, so you can hear that like sound. That's exactly what it's supposed to hear, but believe me, it's way louder in real life than it is in the game. Come on, engine. This engine struggles a little bit, but then again I thought I want to have a smaller, more economic engine that fits all the norms that I require, than have a 16-liter monster who will chew up on gasoline, especially since when you mount the 6x2 or 4 suspensions, you lose around 600 liters of fuel, because those the space that normally goes for those tanks is occupied by the axle. So that's something you have to consider while doing those trips. But this video will be quite short, I think around 15 minutes, just to make it, you know, fast to watch. And guys, if you watch this series, if you enjoy this series, please comment on the video. Tell me, like, do you prefer 15-minute, 25-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute episodes, so I know what my viewership wants, because it's hard for me to predict. I personally enjoy watching those kind of videos that they have around a half an hour. But then again, a lot of my viewers are not used to watching trucking, so I think that this would bore them, and I prefer to keep it a little bit shorter to maybe make you guys, you know, start watching this and then think like, oh, this is a nice game, I want to play this, and then you start watching longer ones, because you will stop to watch them just because I'm driving a truck around, but you will watch them because I'm doing a commentary over it. That's the main, you know, goal for me, to get viewership that comes watch my videos or visit me on my live streams for me, not for the games that I'm playing, because games always can change, you know. I played World of Tanks for a year and I stopped, so that's one thing. But I will be still there, you know. I'm still what I am. I still do what I do. I just changed the things that I do it with. So you can see I am clearly able to do everything that I need without the pop-up display that you have in your right bottom corner. Whoa. Oh, we're in Prague. You have to slow down either way. But yeah, I'll try to get into more how to behave with a truck later on, like what you wanna try not to do and stuff like that whole action that we had a second ago. I could have planned it beforehand and not make it so wild per se. Oh, that's not how you do it in Poland, honestly, guys. You saw those guys just cut corners. Honestly, there's a special regulation for those types of crossings. The circle crossing. And it certainly states that 90% of the time there's a sign like this one, meaning you're privileged. And it basically means that you not privileged. This sign is not the other sign, the triangle one, which means that you have to give lead, and it basically means that the person who is on the circle crossing first has to get out of the crossing, so you always allow them to pass and not cut them in, you know. It differs for countries, but 90% of the time in Poland it's like that. So even though the general rule is that you can actually cut people off on those crossings, 90% of the time you will see, sorry, that sign, and it will mean that you simply should not. Thank you, kind Skoda. Because this guy was going basically standstilling 30 kilometers an hour, where he can go 80, and made it so my truck actually ended up on the barrier. But yeah, This is gonna be probably the stopping point for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the like and comment on the video if you did. Also, as I said, tell me. You can go watch me at twitch.tv/Kazrahim and tell me your impressions of my videos. You can tell me what you want to see in my videos. Give me propositions about the games that could play and stuff like that. I'm open to suggestions. If I have the game, I can play it. If I don't have the game, well, basically till I have something, I'm not able to provide content. Unfortunately, I'm not able to buy new games all the time, and most of the time I buy older games. But yeah, that's it. After this little channel we're gonna stop, so thank you all for coming. Hope you had a good time, and I'll see you guys next time on the battlefield.